They never notice at first. Most men wait for words, for something obvious, something that leaves no room for misinterpretation. But attraction doesn't announce itself that way. It whispers through glances, through pauses, through the spaces between words. I've watched it happen too many times. The moment slips through their fingers, gone before they even realize it existed. What they don't understand is that desire isn't a confession. It's a language, older than speech, older than reason. And for those who can read it, it says everything. Sometimes it starts with something so small it almost doesn't seem real. A brief glance, half a smile, eyes meeting for a heartbeat before darting away. Most men see politeness, but it isn't politeness. It's permission. It's a quiet, careful invitation that says, "I've noticed you." In that instant, I measure everything: how he reacts, how long it takes him to look back. Because that's where I can feel his confidence, his awareness. If he hesitates, if he doesn't see it, the spark fades before it ever becomes fire. Then comes the instinctive play of exposure and trust. A tilt of my head, a brush of hair over the shoulder, the bare line of a neck. Such a simple gesture, but one charged with meaning. I don't plan it. My body moves on its own, as if it remembers something ancient and biological. The neck is vulnerable. It's where trust lives. When I show it, it isn't just a sign of comfort. It's my body whispering, "You make me feel safe." Without that sense of safety, attraction can't grow. Desire isn't a confession. It's a language, older than speech, older than reason. And for those who can read it, it says everything. What men rarely understand is that these gestures are rarely conscious. They rise from somewhere deeper, the same place that governs heartbeat and breath. When I draw my hair back, when my skin warms, it's not performance. It's instinct. It's chemistry writing its code through movement and scent. My body carries the message, even if my mind pretends not to know. If he tenses or fidgets, I can feel the crack in his confidence. But if he holds my gaze with that quiet, knowing calm, that's when something inside me stirs. The dance shifts. Now I'm not just looking, I'm seen. He's no longer a stranger in the room. He's become part of the gravity that pulls my focus without effort. Attraction isn't loud. It's subtle, delicate, a series of layered movements that build into something undeniable. A hand brushing against a glass, fingers tracing the rim, a slow exhale that mirrors the rhythm of his breathing. These are signals wrapped in silence. Sometimes I'll cross my legs, my fingertips resting lightly on my thigh, feeling the warmth beneath my own touch. It isn't deliberate seduction, it's energy finding its way out, a quiet overflow of what's building inside. He may not know it, but in that small gesture, I'm imagining what it might feel like if it were his hand instead of mine. I don't need to speak it, I just want to see if he feels it, if his eyes soften, if his breath shifts, if the air between us thickens with unspoken understanding. That's the space where attraction becomes electricity, unseen but unmistakable. Sometimes it's playfulness that takes over, the kind that hides behind innocence. My shoes slipping loose from my heel, swinging lightly from my toes as I talk, as if by accident. But it isn't an accident. It's a tease, a tiny rebellion against composure, a silent symbol that says, "I'm comfortable. I want you to notice me." The foot, the ankle, they carry more meaning than words ever could. It's my way of saying, "I'm here," relaxed, unguarded. And if he understands that without a word, I know he's attuned. Proximity is another kind of confession. The smallest shift of distance, the subtle lean closer when laughter bridges the space, a shoulder brushing against his arm, these things happen long before the mind catches up. I test the closeness gently, watching for reaction. If he stays, if he doesn't pull away, a new rhythm begins. Space becomes shared, not stolen. It's no longer about the conversation, it's about the gravity between two bodies quietly orbiting the same moment. There are times when words dissolve entirely. All that's left is breathing, the rhythm of it, the way two breaths begin to match without trying. When it happens, it feels almost sacred. It's the body's way of saying we're in sync. It's not conscious imitation, it's connection on the most primal level. That harmony feels like stillness, a pause that isn't awkward, but magnetic. In that silence, no movement feels wrong. Every blink, every inhale, every pulse feels shared. This is where the language of the body turns into something else, something Jung might have called synchronicity, that strange and beautiful coincidence that makes two people mirror each other without trying. I've felt it before, that eerie sense that my heartbeat no longer belongs to just me. It's not lust yet, but it's close, the bridge between soul and skin. Sometimes I'll lean down to pick something up, to reach for my bag, to move just enough for the air to shift between us. There's a fine line between accident and intention, and I've learned to walk it like a blade. It's never about performance. It's about the exchange, the pulse of awareness that travels through a single glance, the tension that hums when his eyes meet mine again afterward. There's power in knowing he sees me and in knowing that I allowed it. It's not always physical. Often the strongest signals hide in restraint, in the gaze that lingers just a fraction too long, in the smile that fades too slowly. When I look at his lips mid-sentence, it isn't by mistake. It's thought bleeding into instinct. My eyes trace a path, his left eye, his right, then down to his mouth. It's a triangle older than memory. My body is already imagining what comes next before my mind gives permission. If he notices and closes the space between us, it feels inevitable, like gravity rather than decision. That's the point where control blurs. Not lost, but willingly given. The moment when two energies stop orbiting and finally collide. That's not manipulation. It's communication at its purest. There are gestures I would never make unless I trusted someone completely. Adjusting a stocking, straightening a strap, brushing fabric over skin. These are acts meant for privacy, small rituals of the body that belong to solitude. But if I do them in his presence, it means the walls are gone. It means I've let him see me without defense. It's not provocation, it's vulnerability. And what I'm really saying is, I'm not hiding anymore. But vulnerability is always a gamble. If he stares too hungrily, it shatters. If he looks away, it freezes. The right kind of man doesn't do either. He simply sees. That simple acknowledgement, calm, grounded, respectful, that's what deepens everything. Because desire without respect is noise, but desire with presence becomes music. When I think about all this, the invisible grammar of attraction, I realize how much of life gets lost in misinterpretation. So many moments die because people wait for words that never come. They don't see the invitation in a look, the permission in a breath, the truth in silence. They mistake restraint for disinterest and fear for rejection. But underneath all that confusion, there's a current, strong, undeniable, that connects us through the body's secret language. It isn't about manipulation or tricks. It's about awareness, the ability to notice the subtle choreography of emotion that plays out without rehearsal. Every glance, every pause, every breath is a message from the unconscious. Jung once said that what we fail to make conscious appears in our life as fate. That's what this language is, the unconscious made visible. When I was younger, I didn't understand it. I mistook chemistry for coincidence, interest for accident. I thought if something was meant to happen, it would happen on its own. But now I know better. Attraction isn't chance, it's participation, a dance between attention and intuition. You don't chase it, you tune into it. And when two people truly see each other through that unspoken lens, it feels like recognition, like meeting someone you already knew in another life. The mind tries to rationalize it, but the body already understands. That's why those moments feel both terrifying and inevitable. You can't plan them, you can only respond. That's what I wish more people knew. How alive the world becomes when you start paying attention to what isn't being said. Every crowded room becomes a map of stories in motion. Every encounter carries potential. You stop waiting for permission and you start feeling it instead. You begin to sense when someone's energy shifts towards you, when their body leans just a little closer, when their eyes flicker for a moment too long. It's in those moments that you realize how much beauty hides in silence. You see how words are only a fraction of communication, how the rest is written in gestures, glances, and breath. Once you learn to read it, you can never unsee it. The world